Good evening, and how are you? Thank you so much for joining me in today's broadcast. And this is your host, Richard Mumbi, on Business Insights. And today I want to address a topic called, contract management. I'm calling it the missing link between procurement success as well as organizational failure. And in dealing with this particular topic, we should be able to appreciate that most of the times as organizations, we have the tendency of celebrating the signing of the contracts and as though we have reached the end of the procurement process. But in reality, this is when value delivery starts. All right. So many organizations, just like I've worked in a few organizations, private NGOs, parastatals, as it were. You find that most of the organizations where we work, we actually spend more time, months perfecting tender documents, running evaluations and negotiating the prices, and yet organizations end up losing millions through poor contract administration issues. So let's think about this. Let's ask ourselves one question. How many of our contracts have been delivered exactly what we paid for, on time, maybe within budget, or probably according to the agreed specifications? All right. So if we are to be honest with ourselves, we might just actually realize and discover that we will become very uncomfortable to answer this particular question. Now, we should be able to understand that what is this contract administration that we are talking about? In simple definitions, I always say contract administration is a discipline or process of managing, supplier relationships. So you manage the supplier relationships, you ensure performance, you ensure compliance, and you ensure value realization from every signed contract. So it is not just about the paperwork. It's not just about how well you file these particular agreements and how you keep record of them. It is about how you manage the obligations that come with issues of risks, timelines, and deliverables, as it were. So it's where procurement strategic intentions are actually able to meet operational realities in the organization where we are working. So we must be able to appreciate and we must be able to understand that a well-managed actually contract can turn promises into performance. All right, it can turn promises into performance just as well as a poorly managed contract can turn your budget into black holes where you lose a lot of money as an organization. Then how can we look at contract administration from the procurement angle, and where is the real problem, or where the real problem begins? I'm saying procurement angle, where the real problem begins. All right. So from procurement standpoint of view, the greatest risk is not in buying a wrong thing. It is in failing to manage what we have bought. All right, or failing to manage the contract, as it were. So some of the common challenges that you find is what we call the contract drift, where suppliers start to deliver differently from what was agreed, or what was in the order, or what was in the contract, and no one notices until it's too late. At that particular point, problems have begun. Then where we're talking also about issues of poor performance tracking. All right. So every contract must be able to have KPIs, or key performance indicators, as it were. So KPIs are never monitored. So when you are not monitoring these particular KPIs, you are actually, prone to poor performance tracking. So reports are inconsistent, and also corrective actions come too late when things have gone sour. The other point that we must be able to watch out as a challenge is what I call the weak contract handovers. All right, procurement teams sign off these particular contracts, but the end users or the project managers do not fully understand the contract terms and the contract terms and obligations. So it is a responsibility of procurement to properly hand over these particular contracts to the end user and the the contract managers, for them to fully understand and appreciate the terms of that particular contract and the obligations that it comes with. Then also the other challenge is what I call reactive management. Organizations only pay attention to these particular problems when they escalate into disputes and penalties and project delays and all those issues. That's when we want to actually begin to pay attention to the contracts that we had signed. So in most world over, actually, and culprits actually in Africa, you'll find that both private and public organizations, we see contracts signed with great ceremonies. They are on televisions, but when it comes to managing this particular contract, we manage them with negligence. So that should not be. And I am saying, so why is contract administration strategic? All right. So contract administration is not an operational chore or whatever ritual. It is a strategic control mechanism that must be put in place. So it ensures that procurement decisions deliver valuable or measurable value. It protects the organization actually from damage, cost overruns, and supplier manipulations, as it were. So we must be able to understand that. For example, in the public sector, poor contract administration leads to audit queries, wastage, and service delivery failure. This is in the public sector. In the private sector, it erodes profitability and weak supplier relationship management. So we are saying a robust contract framework or a robust contract administration framework, should be able to create transparency, accountability, and trust. So all pillars of sustainable procurements should be able to be put into a robust contract administration framework. So if procurement is an architect of value, contract administration is the builder, or is a builder ensuring the design stands. So if you are talking about, contract administration and an effective contract administration process being, an architect for value, then we are saying contract administration itself should be able to be the builder that ensures that the design stands. Now, in conclusion, what are we saying? So in the end, what I am saying is simply that successful organizations do not just award contracts, all right? They manage them intelligently. Successful organizations do not just award contracts, but they manage them intelligently. So let's move from the mindset of contract signing to contract delivered. All right. So because every clause we ignore in the contract, it means we are accepting that particular risk that comes with it. And every obligation that we track is the value we secure in the contract administration process. So contract administration is not bureaucracy. It is governance in action. If it were, when you talk about issues of strategies, we are saying contract administration is where strategy, accountability, and performance coverage, and where real procurement leadership is proven. So because of that, I am saying, can we be a people, or can we be a profession that manage contracts effectively by ensuring that a contract manager is appointed, but by also ensuring as procurement we play the role of actually contract administrators and ensure that we do not find ourselves in a position where these contracts are compromised.